The 2025 presidential election is just around the corner. It will be in October, and within hopefully the period of the 6th or the 7th of October. So we are counting June, July, August, September. 4 months to go for the 2025 presidential election. How ready are the different political parties as time is fast running out? How ready are the peace-loving people of Cameroon in their respective ranks and files across the different towns, villages, and communities? How ready they are as voters registration is almost winding down? How ready are we? The issue being brought before us to discuss is centered on the credibility of the election. The President of the Republic, President Paul Biya, appointed a Reverend Father to be a member of the Elections Cameroon. Reverend Father Abel Matthias Stefan was appointed by President Paul Biya to be a member of Elections Cameroon. This comes after several calls are being made or have been made by Cameroonians and political parties, opposition to be more precise, that there is need for electoral reforms and that people appointed on sensitive positions, such as the Elections Cameroon, should be persons with neutrality, should be people who are not affiliated to a particular political party. With that call made time and in and time out, and just recently, President Paul Biya heeded to the call and appointed Reverend Father Abel Matthias Stefan as a member of Elections Cameroon. The question we're asking is, with this appointment, is it going to change the mentality in which Cameroonians views the Elections Cameroon? Let me be clear, as far as the issue about who wins an election, the process is, Elections Cameroon has the mandate to conduct the election in a transparent, peaceful, and legal manner within the respect of the stipulated laws put in place as far as the electoral law is concerned. In terms of the declaration of the election, it is not Election Cameroon that has the mandate to declare the election. The election results for presidential and legislative election, as well as all the other elections, are being decided or are being announced by the body which is bigger than the Elections Cameroon. And we are talking about the Constitutional Council. So the Elections Cameroon conduct the election, and the Constitutional Council preside over the result and validate the result. And once that is validated, there will be an aspect of pre-electoral or post-electoral petitions. Once the petitions are all listened to, the final result declared, it can no longer be challenged. And so therefore, we're asking the question. And we shall also be looking at the issue about chieftaincy within politics. How should chiefs draw the line between politics and their people? A chief is a custodian of the village, and he is an auxiliary to the administration. And how do we draw this line? After having looked at several issues that have affected several chiefdoms, this is House of Commons with me, Tah Javis. Happy Sunday to all those of you watching us from different parts of the world. A special happy Sunday to you, Mr. Nyam, and your wife, Joan, in the United States of America. And of course, Papa J in DC. Happy Sunday to you, Papa J. All those of you who have been watching us from different parts of the world, happy Sunday. I want to seize this opportunity to wish you, Frank Zangazang, happy birthday and many, many more years, Babana. May the good God continue to guide and protect you as you celebrate your birthday today and that God in his infinite mercy will give you grace and wisdom. I want to wish you happy birthday to you. Also, Nelly. Nelly, I want to wish you happy birthday, Nelly, in Canada. My very good friend, happy birthday. May God continue to guide and protect you as you celebrate your birthday today. In all its fairness and gift, may he give that to you and also guide and protect you and your family. In the studio, we have our guest with whom we are going to discuss on this program. Begin with Emmanuel. Is a member of the civil society organization, junior member of parliament in Cameroon. Happy Sunday and thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Mr. Javis. Good morning, dear panelists. Happy Sunday to everyone, and especially to our televiewers who are always there to accompany us during this important moment. Again, the Cameroon society is bubbling up. Every day we see new trends of activities, episode of various activities going left and right. But we want to say that we are going to remain steadfast. The goal is one, and no matter whatever they say, the goal is one. As people used to say, mini road leads to Rome. We have elections in 2025, and no matter the type of divergent, destructive factors people are bringing, Cameroonians should stay focused because the goal is one. We are opting for change, and the change will come. But the change will come and not with violence. We are going to make sure that we go to the ballot box. And that's why I will take this opportunity to encourage those who have not registered. Please go and get your voter's card. It is very important. That is the only way you can help develop Cameroon. There is not any other thing. The state is not asking not for money. The state is asking, go and register, because that is a civic responsibility. Again, I want to express my special greetings to Dr. Dimla Emmanuel. I call him my father. He's down there in Bamenda watching me live. He's the man who has been making things happen. That's somebody who understands what grassroots politics is all about. Then to the bishops of Cameroon, whom some time ago they had a lot of things to say. This is the moment we are expecting them, especially as we're going to be talking about one of the clergymen who has been appointed to a particular position, to a particular institution that nearly all Cameroonians, when you do the sampling, you would know that many Cameroonians do not trust many institutions in Cameroon, and ELECAM is one of them. We shall be coming back to that. Thank you.
In the studio, we have someone who has spent most of his time to defend the voice of the voiceless and his resources to ensure that those who are unjustifiably arrested be released. He has also fought very hard as far as the organization of the bar exam is concerned in Cameroon, having looked at the period when the bar was supposed to be launched, and having looked at the fact that it took several years and there were people, aspirants, to become lawyers whose dreams were being shattered. He could not be indifferent just to see that these people who have studied passionately in their respective universities should be allowed to have their dreams die down. He decided to raise a case against the Minister of State, the Minister of Justice, for failure to organize the bar exam. And within that, he also decided to make sure that the voices that are concerned as far as the organization of the bar exam is concerned actually do their job as stipulated by the Constitution. With that, several stones were thrown at him by some of the people who benefited from the fact that the exams have not been launched. However, at the end of the day, the exams were finally launched. With this pressure mounted, he decided to move to form a political party that will aim at shaping Cameroon's vision and building from the grassroots level right to the level of the presidency of the republic. His focus, number one, is to make sure that the grassroots level understand their duty and responsibility and take development at the core and make sure that the development that they want, they are the ones that can actually provide the development. That is why he saw that there is need for his own political party with a new ideology. The ideology which will not be centered on money given, but will be centered on bringing everybody on board, listening to them, and putting them in front to take their destiny into their hands democratically. Barrister Ayan Lewis is here with us of the True Democratic Party of Cameroon. Happy Sunday, TPC.
Thank you very much, Mr. Javis. Thank you for having me here My fellow panelists, good afternoon to you all. You're highly welcome. It's a great pleasure to be with you guys. And good afternoon to all the telespectators in the house. Permit me use this opportunity to greet all the members of our great party, True Democratic Party. It's a young and ambitious party, and through the party we shall see to it that Cameroon is transformed and it takes the position that it deserves in Africa in particular and Cameroon in general. Fellow Cameroonians, you all will agree with me that throughout the Republic of Cameroon, there is no one particular sector that any Cameroonian can hit his chest and say this particular sector is working. You all will agree with me. But however, at this stage, I can only appeal to you that please do well, do the needful, register, get your voters card, because we have elections that are coming up. The presidential election is key, central. Change can happen. We have municipal and parliamentary elections that will be coming up next year. So please do well to register and get your voters card. I pray that this program will be a very fruitful and didactic program. So I look forward to seeing how it will unfold.
In the studio, we have someone regarded as one of the most transparent member of the Cameroon People's Democratic Movement, Mr. Kimban Vitalis. He is here with us all the way from Bamenda, who constantly work in Bamenda, and he's only here during the weekends to see his family. Mr. Kimban, happy Sunday and thanks for joining us.
Happy Sunday, Tah Javis. Happy Sunday to all the tele viewers. It's my pleasure to be here once more. This is a very decisive year, and I would also like to plead with those who are not registered to register and vote and safeguard their vote. And I also like to call on the opposition leaders to do well to see that they bring hope to the masses, because when you move on the street, you discover that most of the voters, they are very confused. If you ask somebody which party are you going to vote, actually somebody cannot tell you which party you vote, because many of them are confused and they don't even know where to belong as of now. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you very much. Also, these we are waiting also the arrival of the member of the Cameroon Renaissance Movement is in the person of Sir Mutaga, who is supposed to be here. He's here to make his arrival here in the studio. And these are the gentlemen with whom we are going to discuss on today's edition of our program, while waiting for the other panelists to come for the program. I begin with you on the first topic. We shall be looking at elections Cameroon and the appointment of the Reverend Father Albert Abel Matthias Stefan, Barrister Ian Lewis. There have been several calls by Cameroonians and political stakeholders for neutral persons be appointed at ELECAM. When this appointment came, what was your reaction, and how do you see this appointment of this priest?
Yeah, I think it's a very good appointment, something we should really applaud. But Cameroonians should also know that Reverend Father Abel Matthias Stefan, he's not the first man of God to be appointed to the board of ELECAM. We have had Reverend Dr. Diodore Massigams, who is actually the chairman of the Anti-Corruption Commission. He was once a member of ELECAM also. So Reverend Matthias is actually the second man of God.
There is a first priest of the Roman Catholic Church.
All of them, they are men of God. That's the heart of it. I know Reverend Diodore Massigams was one time the Secretary General of the Presbyterian Church in Cameroon, so he was a high-ranking church member.
Yes, figure.
Yes, so bottom line is, when they bring men of God into the board of ELECAM like that, is something commendable, because we need transparency, honesty at the level of the board. And let me refer you to the Bible. Proverbs 29 verse 2 states very clearly that when the righteous are in authority, the people, they rejoice. But when the wicked are in authority, the people, they mourn. The man of God is a righteous man by virtue of his profession. So we hope he will make Cameroonians to rejoice whenever there is elections, by ensuring that whatever election is conducted, it will be fair, transparent, and will be the best election that will reflect the voice of the people. And looking at his personality, we must always refer to the law. Section 12 sub 2 of the Electoral Code designates the criteria for those to be appointed to the board. And it stipulates very clearly that first, the individual must be a Cameroonian, the individual must be competent, the individual must be intellectually honest, the individual must be patriotic, must be neutral and impartial. So when you look at the Reverend Father, you see that he embodies, he carries all these qualities. And that is why the head of state deemed it necessary to appoint him into the board. But now, We know that in Africa in general, there's the issue of election rigging. People don't trust ELECAM. So I see that as a signal, as a step towards making the people to trust the body ELECAM. And let me use this opportunity to appeal to the man of God that Cameroonians are really counting on him, because he embodies the spirit of Jesus Christ. I think he is the representative of Jesus Christ.
We call it the impersonal Christi.
Yes, he is the representative of Jesus Christ within ELECAM. And he should show us what he carries. If there is any election malpractice at any level of ELECAM, he should be bold, he should be courageous to expose it, to denounce it, to say, no, this cannot work because it's not regulated by the text. The man of God should be bold to speak truth to power. That's what we want. And let's not forget that the laws regulating ELECAM, it states very clearly, ELECAM is independent. It's not answerable to the president. Meaning the President Paul Biya cannot order the authorities of ELECAM left and right. They are independent.
Was appointed,
yes. He has the power to put them there. But once they are there, he cannot direct them. Nobody. Even the Prime Minister, the senators, nobody, they cannot direct them. So he should use that independence that he has to make sure that the results at all the levels of elections, presidential elections, municipal, parliamentary, etc., should be a reflection of the choice of the people. That is exactly what we want. Unfortunately, we see that in Cameroon, ELECAM conducts the elections, manages everything, but they don't pronounce the results when it comes to the presidential election. That's a shortcoming. We hope to get there. And that's why at the level of our party, True Democratic Party of Cameroon, we are proposing in our manifesto that ELECAM should handle all the affairs of election when it comes to management, everything, and the pronouncement of the results. Everything should be managed by ELECAM.
Because, Barrister, many people feel like this process is so cumbersome, because how do you organize an election? Then you take the result and go and give somebody else to read the election who did not conduct the election and not know the process under which the challenges that were encountered.
That's a serious problem. So you see that ELECAM Cameroon, they can do their job. But after they transmit the results to the Constitutional Council, the Constitutional Council can declare, they can change the result. And whatever they pronounce as the result, that's what will be legal.
And cannot be challenged again.
It cannot be challenged. Even if you take it to court, it will still be maintained. It cannot be challenged. It's final. That's a serious problem. And when you look at that mechanism, you see that it's a mechanism that was put in place to rig elections. Whether you like it or not, why should ELECAM be there, the body that manages, conducts everything? They will do everything. They chew everything, then they give it to the Constitutional Council to swallow. Why is it supposed to be like that? You see, look at developed countries. Let's take the case of Nigeria. The National Electoral Commission, INEC.
Yes.
They do everything. The chairman declares the results.
Yes.
Then now that's how it's supposed to be, because
even in Kenya, it's the International Election Boundaries Commission, IEBC, that declares the result.
That's how it's supposed to be.
They are the ones who conducted the result, the elections.
Because when the Electoral Commission, they pronounce the result, if there are any disputes, that's when now you resort to the courts.
You take it to the Constitutional
That's
Council.
how it's supposed to be. But in Cameroon, it's otherwise. Well, at the level of the party, we are appealing, and it's in our manifesto that ELECAM should be the one to declare, pronounce all the results, Mr. Javis.
Which is why our party is aiming to look at municipal and parliamentarian who can change the law at the level of the parliament.
Exactly. At this level, we don't have any presidential aspirant. We want to tackle politics at the level of the local government, then parliamentary, senatorial, municipal council, because it's good to start from the base, from the foundation. And you know, like you said, the parliament, the senate, at the level of the senate is crucial, because that's where the laws spring up. And unfortunately for us in Cameroon, we have mostly sleeping parliamentarians who, in fact, has there ever been a private member's bill in Cameroon? It's difficult. You cannot say that, despite the fact that we have very intelligent Cameroonians. But you cannot have a private member's bill.
Mr. Emmanuel, the appointment of this Reverend Father Abel Matthias, is it timely? Or because remember, the bishop had written two letter said the first one, which was in Boya, calling for the
National
National Episcopal Conference, which they had written, still talking about the credibility and the process that the government should give opportunity for people to trust the process. Is it as a response to the bishop's letter?
Okay. Let's go with the positivist, who said that the government has listened to the cry of the bishops. But remember, we are coming from a period where when the bishops stood out, spoke, the very government went in and told them that, please concentrate on the pulpit. Do not talk about politics. Let politicians do that. So now we are coming to see the government appointing somebody, a man of God, to a commission, which is deemed. Cameroonians have lost faith in it. But I want to say something here. It's actually a good initiative. I want to say something here. But we need to know that if you take sweet wine and keep in a bottle of castel, it cannot change to be castel. What am I saying? So the electoral commission in Cameroon, have we ever known the criteria used in appointing those people?
It is stipulated in the electoral code,
Okay.
where barrister just read that the person must be impartial, first must be a Cameroonian,
How do you dictate
must be impartial, must be neutral. Meaning that it does not belong to any political party.
It does not belong to any political party. How have they demonstrated it? And that's why I believe the Reverend Father there will simply go there and be. They will tell him there, when you give what belongs to Caesar and give what belongs to God to God. That is exactly
go back to the church.
what is going to do.
No. You cannot be so sure.
That's what I'm saying. What is going to happen? For example,
Are you a prophet?
We know what is happening. Look at Article 45 of the Electoral Code. Pardon. Article 54. Members of the local polling unit. How will the priest determine the members of the polling unit, whereas they are being appointed by the Geo? How is the priest going to intervene? And who is the Geo? Who appoints the Geo? The President of the Republic. And what does the Geo do? He has to work according to the instructions of the state, of the head of state. That is the way we are saying that it is a good initiative. Please, let me go back to something before I get to tell you what about all of these things. The problem in Cameroon is not ELECAM pace. ELECAM has its own ways. The electoral code has its own ways. It has its own flaws that many Cameroonians have been complaining. But the issue at hand, it is not those who have been appointed. We believe from first hand that those who have been appointed are credible men. But what happens? Do they just go there and start doing what they want? No, they go there because there are people who dictate to them that this is supposed to happen here. We know all of these things that happen. Those people appointed, be it already. The first information is that they are credible. But what makes them not to be credible? Why are Cameroonians not trusting ELECAM? Because there are other people, if you ask them, they will not tell you that Dr. Esuse is corrupt. They will not tell you. But why will Cameroonians say, Cameroonians will say that he cannot manage the job he cannot do what he thinks because it is being dictated to him. You understand where I'm coming from? That is the issue. We should understand this. Those people who are there, the priest is going to be there. He's going there with his holy mind, with everything to do there, to say yes and to say no to what is wrong and to what is right. But then, what if somebody tells you what the person who appointed still had the prerogative because he's going to sack you?
But do you know that the formation of this priest, or the mindset of the priest, is to stand and to do what the Lord.
That's what we are saying.
Well, what God actually commanded. Like Barrister said that this is the representative. This is a representative of Jesus Christ. Why do we have this mindset? Why do you have the mindset that he can be ordered around?
I have the mindset because we are drawing from experience.
Have you not?
And that's why.
But the same experience also make us to understand the issue of Ndongmu, who stood his line. Why do we think that this priest cannot actually? Kazinatumi also have been those who have actually stood by what they believe.
I am not against him. I'm not those people they are actually the martyrs of their time. But when we look at where they are, Ndongmu was a freelancer, a bishop who spoke. He did not act. They did not appoint him in any post. Cardinal Tume of blessed memory was also a freelancer who says what he thinks is right. But when he says what he thinks is right, do they do it? Are they not doing the other way around?
That is where we are. But we are talking about somebody who has actually been brought up into a system where we have a lot of things. When you look at Article 87 of the Electoral Code, they give only 2 weeks for campaigns to go on. How is the priest, how is ELECAM going to monitor all the? In fact, we have a lot of things.
That's how we have divisional.
Now you are coming from somewhere. Let's talk about Mutengene. Have you understood how the elections follow up in Mutengene? We have all of those things. And what I'm trying to say is this: the appointment of the priest, it is welcome initiative, and it's going to be another milestone if the authorities allow the priest and all the ELECAM members to work without interference, without push-ups, without pressure, and without calls, unnecessary calls, and so on. That's what I'm trying to say. Because Cameroonians have been blaming ELECAM, not blaming ELECAM or the members per se. Although we have skirmishes with the code and things that we do not actually appreciate, but the issue here is let the people, because we already know that when Mina will say this and that. First of all,
Let me
say
you already know.
Yes, we already know that.
No, say you.
Okay,
you.
no, I already.
Yeah, no, say we.
I already know. Now, when you see, why we think that ELECAM at this very even appointing the bishop there is still not going to make that impact.
So what impact do we really need now?
Yeah, we need it. Well, I'm already advocating for the impact. Even appointing the bishop will not make any impact. If at all, they will not allow the bishop.
Who will not allow that?
The same people, the government people. Because I see.
But
what are the criteria of appointment? Have they been? I thought they should go to court, declare everything.
But we are following the current constitution.
Let it be sworn that I will do this.
But we are following the current constitution. Whatever has been done here, it has been done within the context of the constitution. May not be right. It may not be right, but it is within the context of the constitution.
I get back to you to say that why are we doing what is why is the constitution having what is not right?
So is it not? That's why is it not time for people now to say, okay, let's go to the municipal, the legislative, like Barrister Anyang is doing. That no, let's start from this area and put in people who can go there now and constitutionally change it.
I am with him. I actually buy his idea, and that's why I'm saying that.
But you raised an issue that
yes.
You raised an issue that the members of the polling unit are appointed by the DO.
Yes.
But there is a nuance there because the DO doesn't appoint parties representative as the polling unit.
He appoints representative.
No parties representative.
Yes.
The DO doesn't appoint parties representative at the polling unit.
Yes.
The DO also doesn't appoint members of ELECAM at the polling unit. The DO only appoint
representative
of the state, which is according to the law. I may be wrong, which is according to the law.
Exactly. Yes,
what we see, why we do complain is
I
that.
think in that area, what he's trying to say is that the DO should not even have that.
Let me.
The DO should not even come.
That is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, the DO should not even come.
Because
ELECAM should handle elections fully.
Is it possible for us to organize elections in Cameroon and have the result the next day?
But
please, let me go over. It is are you talking about what's happening? We have had election. We are going to have presidential elections that is going to occur on the 7th of October. There's going to be another commission of counting commission that is going to be created to count the election. Why ELECAM is there? And then another commission is going to be made up of other political parties, other people appointed. You see, why the trend? Why the long drawing of the rope? Let ELECAM organize elections so that by the next day we should know the
I'm not against you.
We know the
I'm not against you, but I'm just saying that
yes.
You are saying something which is not within the constitution. This is a new constitution that you are bringing, because the constitution, whatever they are doing, the constitution may not be right,
but it's the law.
It's the law.
It's the law. Okay.
At least they are following the law.
They are following the law.
It's a bad law.
Good.
But it's the law.
It's a bad law. What do we do with the bad
law? It's the law.
Since we discovered that it's a bad law that must be applied, no matter how hard or bad it is, that must be applied. We now seek to the conscience of those people who have applied the bad, who are in charge of the bad law. Please use your consciences. Let the right thing be done. The law is there. Let's put the law that is already bad. Let's apply the law that is bad, but use our right mentalities, rationality, in order that in Cameroon we are aspiring to have should be the best.
Okay.
Let's copy others.
Thank you.
By doing the right thing.
Thank you. Tah Javis. My regards to you, Tah Javis, and your team. ELECAM is independent as a matter of law, but not as a matter of fact. ELECAM officials are CCPD members. Members of ELECAM should be elected, or it should be closed down to make it more better to use taxpayers' money. This is Mr. Lawrence writing from Bonaberry. This one says, accept Sunday greetings, Mr. Javis, and everyone in the panel. Please, the appointment of the priest will not change the situation because the real drama are there and will not. The real drama are there and will not change the situation because the real drama are there and will not be changed. It will not be chance to reach there. The credibility of the election simply lies on the opposition leaders to first of all think of the people. People are thirsty for change and anxiously waiting for a signal from the opposition. What puts this fear in people's mind is simply the fragmentation of the opposition as the greatest handicap to hope for change. If the main opposition leaders unite their energies and have pity on the people and do what the citizens are crying for, we should forget about any other person appointed. All this lies on the voters. And Chiamoso enjoying the program from Bafus. I'm sorry, sir, if I wrongly get your name. I really apologize. A good day, Javis, to you in the studio. My brother Javis, I want to say that for all times the government have always kicked against men of God involving in election and political issues. If this country, then now that is the same government that is appointing a man of God to take part in ELECAM and elections follow up, which means he is going to have a say somewhere, which is something they have always refused. Now, don't you think reasonable Cameroonians are going to see that this particular man of God must be an arm of the government, or he must have been well coached on what to do or what to say in the process? Where, Mr. Javis, my brother, make these people not the take we like say will be that then we know everything with the pass for this our country. Oh, okay, Ella, the writing of Libya. But Ella, let's give a chance. You cannot. The truth is, no, Mr. Kimba, your reaction.
There is a saying that a lazy man always complain about his tools, and that is what I think many Cameroonians are doing, because they already know that the opposition is nowhere to be found. And that's why people are complaining that ELECAM up, ELECAM down. I think that the President Paul has listened to the cry of the people, and he has appointed a priest to the Electoral Commission. So it should be the homework of the opposition leaders, as one of the listeners just said. They should galvanize their force to see how they can win this election, because even if they bring the Pope and appoint him as the member of ELECAM, the people will still be complaining. Reason being that the people will still be complaining. They will still complain, because to be very sincere with you, the people out there that are not even concerned about ELECAM. The problem now is the opposition party.
Yeah, you listen to that message that guy sent.
Who seems not to be together, who seem not to be having a headway, because there are, if you look on the ground, you will discover that the only party that has its roots right to the nooks and crannies of Cameroon is the CPDM. You cannot go to any village in Cameroon or anywhere in Cameroon and will not see members of CPDM. There are so many parties who are aspiring, their leaders are aspiring to be the president of this country, that if you leave from here and even go to Boya and even ask people there, do you know this person? The people, they will not even know the person. And so when all these people, they see that there's no way they can win election, the next thing is that what they start complaining about, ELECAM will not do this, ELECAM will not do that. I think that they should concentrate, make their groundwork to be felt by those who are going to vote on that day. Let me ask you something. Mr. Emmanuel. I think if you go to your village, is Noni. There are you ask people in Noni to name you 5 opposition parties. Majority of people they will not know. But there are people. There's nobody in Noni who doesn't know the CPDM. And there's nobody in Noni who doesn't know the CPDM. So you will see that the opposition parties that failed, and the people out there have been calling for them that please come together, form a coalition, so that we can see how to unseat President Paul Biya. But
you go around giving lectures on how the opposition should function. Is that?
We're not giving lessons on how opposition should function. My problem has always been that you people will always complain that you don't want President Paul Biya to stand for election again. Is it you are President Paul Biya?
That's the same question.
Is it your
their party? It's not your party.
Why should you be
It's
so
their party.
why should you be so concerned about my candidate?
There's the candidate of the party.
Why should you be so
you have the
concerned
power
about
to
my
choose your
candidate?
own.
Yes.
Choose your own.
Yes, and that's why
I always give a lample.
Yes.
In 1990, when Cameroon was going for World Cup,
Yes.
Maradona was the best player. We knew that Maradona was going to score 10 goals. But our coach, Valerie Neponachi,
Yes.
he was not afraid of Maradona. He went there and won Argentina. But today, what are we doing? You people are looking at President Paul Biya as a Maradona, that you can never win him. So you are now complaining that we should remove him and bring another person. We have said that no, we don't want another Maradona. We want our Maradona should remain there. So why?
Please, there's something. Let me.
So now you people are saying that ELECAM has gone up, ELECAM has gone down. I want to bet you,
Yes.
if the opposition parties they come together
Yes.
and they form a coalition, and the people out there are very happy that no, this is somebody who can bring hope to Cameroon, I bet you nobody will complain about ELECAM. This complaint of ELECAM is coming because people are frustrated.
Mr. Kimball,
Yes.
are you saying that there are not genuine concern about the issues ongoing in ELECAM? Because you said the people will not complain. Are you saying that ELECAM is flawless?
We have just mentioned NEC in Nigeria.
Yes.
After
the
election,
election commission
very
and
good.
the independent electoral boundary commission in Kenya.
Very good. After the declaration of a result in Nigeria, what happened? The supporters of Peter Obi, they were complaining. The supporters of Atiku Abubakar, they were complaining elections were rigged. So I don't think that the main problem here is ELECAM. That's one.
So ELECAM doesn't have a problem.
He has a problem, but it's not the main problem. The main problem is the opposition leaders who cannot galvanize to face our Maradona.
Please let me come in.
No, let him land.
He has already landed.
No, I've landed.
Okay.
Please let me
Very brief.
reply, please. There's something we have to understand. When we talk about, I asked him a question before he actually entered me, saying that that the CPDM concentrate its energy mostly and in revoking discussions within the opposition. I have even equally asked them, the opposition develop policies. They should develop policies rather than talking about President Paul Biya, because President Paul Biya, he owes nobody any explanation now. If you want, I used to tell opposition people, if you want to win election, governor, develop policies, sell them out, they will buy it. But now, we should not narrow it down for you people, for the CPDM people, to be the one provoking, because the opposition, if you bring all of them, even if the governors, all of them together, let's take the example of 2018 presidential election. You join all their percentages, it is not up to 35. The CPDM will still win with 70-something%.
We are simply pitying you people, because if you look at
I am not an opposition.
there are many people out there who will say that no, this opposition party like this is owned by the CPDM. This one like this is owned by the CPDM.
Because yes, people say so because of the way they intermingle with the CPDM. That was not my point.
Maybe they want to come and steal our skills.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They will not still defeat the CPDM, because if the opposition rally themselves together now, and it is going to be the minds of Cameroonians who are going to define.
Now, why you say they will not still defeat?
Because I'm talking from examples.
What data are you relying on?
Okay, 2018 presidential elections. Okay, let's start from 2011. Yes.
Do you know why many Cameroonians are reluctant to register?
I don't know.
Because they are looking at the opposition party and they're not seeing somebody who can save as a messiah.
As a messiah.
If you look at what happened, the guy, although by then, maybe I was still in primary school, you were still a child by then. The moment maybe you are not born, 1990, something like that. 1992. The way the people galvanized when when Ni John Fundu came up.
It was
I remember I was still in primary school. I could see how people were boiling, how people wanted change, how everybody wanted to vote.
Because there was an alliance.
There was an alliance, and there was somebody who proved to them that I am ready to bring change. Ne John Frundi moved around to the north, to Akko, to now all over Cameroon. Yes. How many opposition parties, leaders, as of now, has been able to? There's no problem. Yes, but you want to win. See, let me ask you. Go to. I just give you an example. How do you expect somebody in your village, Noni, to vote a person that he does not know?
Please. Emmanuel, please. You are sidelining by Sir Lewis. Yes.
He's saying that if you go to everywhere in Cameroon, you find the CPDM party. Yes. We all know that the CPDM party is a party made up of civil servants and those who are benefiting from the system, whether we like it or not. If Cameroonians are honest to themselves, you look at the CPDM party, made up of government workers who are looking forward to having promotion and benefit civil servants. That's what we are talking about. Majority is always, it carries the day. Majority carries the day. It's made up of civil servants, and you go to. That's why you see whenever they have their meetings, even in one village, you see the DO is there. Mr. Javis, you see the DO always attends the meetings of the CPDM party. Is that how it's supposed to be? The governor always attends the meetings of the CPDM party. Is that how it's supposed to be? It gives the impression that.
No, but the governor, I've not seen.
No, when it comes.
No, I've not seen. We have seen it. Okay, yes, the law. Continue.
Yeah, like I was saying, you see state authorities, divisional officers, DOs, top ministers, they always attend meetings of the CPDM party. You ask yourself whether they are governing by the CPDM militants or they are governing by Cameroonians. There must be that difference. No, there must be that difference. You cannot be a state authority governing people, then you give the image, because in politics the image matters a lot, and that's why it's difficult for the opposition parties to have the authorization to hold their meetings.
You are a legal man
and everything.
You are a legal man.
Yes,
and a very good one at that. The DO, the governor, the SDO, they are Cameroonians. And don't they have a right to belong to a party, and don't they have a right to be appointed members of that party, key positions of that party that they are? For example, let's say the CPDM. Don't the governor have a right as a Cameroonian to belong to that party, and don't that governor still enjoy the right to be elected in an elected position within the party?
Legally, they have that right.
Okay.
But now, if you have that right, know that other people have the right too. You are attending the meeting of a particular party, you give them everything that they need, the necessary authorizations, but another political party wants to have just a basic meeting. You don't want to grant it. You cite security issues. Is that fair? As an administrator, govern fairly. There should be social justice at the level of public administration. It's very fair. And I will go back to reiterate on this factor. You see, the problem with the CPDM militants is that they are doing politics of the belly. And I'll say it clearly. Let's be honest. The CPDM party has been in power for how many years? Just basic amenities for Cameroonians to have water. Can we have water? Can we have tar roads? Can we have stable electricity? Basic amenities, waste management. Look at the national territory. It's a disaster. And that's why you see Donald Trump refers to African countries as shithole countries. If a government cannot provide basic amenities, do you think the government deserves credit? That's what I'm talking about. So you see that the CPDM is everywhere because all the state machinery, right from Yaoundé to the lowest administrative unit, is made up of government workers who are protecting their job. They are looking forward to having promotion. And that's why you see when civil servants, they try to speak truth to power, they are sanctioned or their files are blocked, they cannot get promotion. And all that, which is not fair. Cameroonians have to be honest to themselves. It's not about the party. I am the national president of a political party. I don't care whether CPDM is in power or which other political party. What matters is Cameroon, and we need good governance. That is the heart of the matter. Everybody needs water. Everybody needs electricity, tar road. All of us, we need all that. We, the political parties, will have the one goal, a better Cameroon. Except a political party, they don't see it that way. But the CPDM party that has been in power for long should try to think towards that direction and provide basic amenities to Cameroonians.
Barrister, let me just do a quick follow-up. You talked about the issue of the fact that the party has not been able to give good roads, water, stable electricity, just to name these. But I want to find out, Barrister, you are from the Southwest region. We know that youth from the Southwest region recently came out in their numbers and contributed.
I answered that question already, Mr. Javis. I answered that question already. I said it clearly.
Is it not a proof that they are happy?
What proof?
Boya and Sawe are happy
What
with
proof?
the current administration?
What proof? If you look at some of those youths, they have not paid their school fees. If you look at some of those youths, they have not used they have not paid their school fees. I mean themselves, not government. If you look at those youths, they have not used water in their houses for days, weeks, electricity, nothing. And that's why you see, I say they are doing the politics of the belly, because they have given the money, and that's why they did what they did.
Barrister, let me tell you something.
Let's not forget also, we saw videos that surfaced recently of how CPT militants were being given Fanta, bread. Can you imagine?
What's wrong with it?
Okay, you wanted to react.
No, somebody came and marched and he needed food and drinks to cool his stomach and it was given. Is that a problem?
No, it's not a problem.
It's not a problem.
Yeah. What?
I want to be very clear.
Yeah.
If by next week
Yeah.
I discover that there's a party that can do more than a CPDM, I'm coming here next week to change.
No, you go and change with the party,
Yes.
not come and change.
I'm telling you that when I come here next week, I will say no, I'm not more in the CPDM. I want to go to where there is change. My problem is that
Yeah.
you know why I'm with the CPDM? Because I've looked at, not that CPDM is the best.
Yes.
No.
No, you're right.
I have looked at all the opposition parties and I've discovered that there's nobody among them who is willing to
Yes.
bring change. That is why I've said that the devil you know is better than the angel you don't know. And that's why I'm with the CPDM. The day that I will see the angel, and the angel will exhibit characteristics of an angel, I will join that angel. But for now, the opposition leaders, they are not ready for any change. That is the truth, and that's the fact. If you bring two opposition leaders here, either from MAC, from PCRN, from SDF, and put them
from DTC.
Yes, and put them here, it will not take 5 minutes. They will start fighting each other, showing the deep differences and frustration that exist among them. These are not people who are willing to. They are not even. We are even crying that President Paul Biya is not listening to the cry of the masses. The masses have been crying, telling the opposition leaders that please, you people should galvanize a common force, and you people have not heard the cry of the masses when you have not even taken power. Imagine now when you take power, you will not even listen to them. If you cannot listen to people who are crying, we want to vote you people to be in power. Please galvanize your force and be in one union. Let us vote you people. You have refused. And now you want to blame President Paul Biya for what? The thing is
Mr.
that
Javis,
if I see the angel and the angel exercise the character of an angel, I would simply change from the CPN the very day and join that angel.
yeah, see, Mr. Javis, this issue of coalition, I don't think a president or a presidential aspirant should be voted because he's in a coalition. A presidential aspirant should be voted because Cameroonians have seen something reliable in him. Let's not use the word coalition to try to make Cameroonians think that the opposition are not doing their best. It's not an easy task to be an opposition political party in this country. Let's not forget that opposition party have suffered a lot. So what matters is that we appeal to ELECAM to do a good job.
Okay.
And let me also use this opportunity to say that even though we are criticizing the system, and CPTM carries the blame because they are the ones in charge, but all we want is for them to fix the country, because they have the affairs of the country in their hand now. they should fix the country. You cannot say you want to fix the country when you cannot give the basic amenities. You start first from the basic amenities. So my appeal to the government in place is to provide Cameroonians with the basic amenities first. Once we have the basic amenities, we can start thinking about the greater issues.
Okay. My very good friend Max from Germany, right? He says, hello, my friend Javis. Hello to your panel. ELECAM has announced of about 30,000 polling stations. Let Mr. Biya appoint 30,000 priests to be president of those polling stations. Then the appointment can affect effectively in the election process. If not, let us not throw any stone on the man of God that may have got this nomination because of the outing of the bishops. So Max, of course, writing from Germany. This other right says, "Hello, Mr. Javis. I'm enjoying your program. Let us take note of this. A thief and a prostitute is always known in their quarter, not because it is a good thing. The CPDM may be known everywhere. It's because of its campaigns. When you stay in power for more than 43 years with nothing to show for it, why will people not know you?" This is Kelvin writing from the United States of America. Omega Kenya, right from Boya, says, good day to you, Mr. Javis, to Barrister Ayang and the rest of the panelists. How can we Cameroonians explain that ELECAM will clear and weed the farm, plant and grow the crops and harvest, and then hand everything to the Constitutional Council? The sweetest moment of the work and the glory. Anyways, appointment of the man of God into ELECAM is what we say, wishing for the best, but expecting there was 50-50 cause no one can really tell. There is nothing like CPDM is rooted everywhere, because if we want change, we will be honest and vote for change, unless manipulated. Okay, this one is Mr. Javis. Good day. Good day to you and all the panelists. CPDM brothers said they have chosen their Maradona. Why are we complaining? I want to ask our brother, can he employ a dash here to be his driver? People are calling for the president to run for another election because of the personal interest, not for the interest of the people. I am Brian, writing from Limbe. This other one is a nice program. I think that the appointment of this man of God is a good thing. It will help us to understand some realities. He will go there. His experience will help the bishops to know what is going on and what letters they can write subsequently after the election.
Okay.
You wanted to react?
Yes. There's something. Anyway, the appointment of the man of God has come. Let's say it is a response of the president to the cry of the bishops. A step has been taken. The only thing we are going to implore now is that the political terrain should be made level for everybody. Let me put something. I always ask myself this question. Since 2018 till today, we have seen there are political parties in Cameroon that carry out activities every day, and in those activities they do campaign. But the other ones, for example the CPDM, the other political parties, they don't do. Mr. Kimbang was talking about Noni. I don't know, is the political terrain level for everybody? In Noni, there are basically two political parties, the SDF and the CPDM. Right?
Yeah.
I, as a young man that I am, I would have loved to see competition, the sale of the marketing, the commercialization of ideas, where if the CPDM is if having their part, their rally, after they finish, let the SDF come as well. I'm not only talking about money. This is what's happening. You have to see, we have seen places in the East where a particular political party has been disturbed from holding that they don't have anything to do in this community. We have seen it. We should not pretend as if though we are not Cameroonians and we don't follow information. And then we have so many of those cases. Even the build up to the 2018 presidential election, we saw how gadgets and party gadgets of a particular political party were burned in the north. In our presence, nothing was done. And that is why you will not expect the other political party to be where the people whom are governing have not given the terrain to be level.
Okay.
But we would just want it this way. Let our president here, he's a president of the political party. Let the political terrain be given. If he wants to carry out campaign, let them give him this and this. The modus operandi of how to operate to carry out and not banning because of security. Whereas another political party is carrying out activity.
They should provide the security measures for him.
So that security measures should be everybody. The security should accompany all Cameroonians. And you should be anybody who goes against the law should face it. And that's what we think.
Okay.
It's going to help all of us. Everybody will have to know that, yes. Because I don't know, why are we that way? When I take time to look at the way elections evolve in other places. To be frank, let's go to a neighboring Nigeria. There is no way we can do election as Nigeria did. Nigeria, the presidential election is almost a year, right? They take almost a year, right? But we have two weeks. Which candidate? Sure. Which candidate?
I'm not sure that they have almost a year.
But they have more than 6 months.
Yeah,
because
they have the liberty.
They have the liberty.
Which president? We are talking about you criticizing opposition. Which opposition in Cameroon, no matter the billions you have, will go around Cameroon in 2 weeks?
How did Nijon do it?
Nijon went around Cameroon in 2 weeks.
Yes.
we should
find out.
We should stop the game. Nijon did not go around Cameroon in 2 weeks. It is very impossible that will go around Cameroon, going to localities in 2 weeks. Which political party can do that? The CPDM can do that because they already have representatives. They have, I know the way they function very well. And that's the party I like because they are very organized. But the problem we have here, I'm not blaming the CPDM, but I'm blaming the state. And before I blame the state, I am encouraging the state to make the political terrain level for everybody, so that everybody, it is not war, it is just an issue of ideas. You sell your ideas and see who will buy and who will not buy. And at the end of the day, let the market be. You made mention of a supermarket. The CPDM does not have a supermarket for CPDM members. Everybody, we eat in the same place, we drink, we do everything. But let the political terrain, and that's why the Joe will accept this particular party to go on this activity and refuse another political party for the same security. What if the members of that political party are the same members this way? Are they going to be causing trouble?
Good day, Mr. Javis and all the panelists. We believe when nature wants to take its course, you can do all what you think or appoint whosoever you want. Gone are those days where Cameroonians were deceived that Supreme Court declares a fair election. The appointment of the priest is a good move, but he should remember that this is another call for another call to free Cameroonians that have been suffering for long now. I am Prince Abom. This other one, right? It says, "Good afternoon to you in the studio. There is no difference between CPDM and government. That is why CPDM is everywhere." Mr. Oje, writing from Yaoundé. This other one says, "Nice program." Okay, thank you very much. Now we move to the second part of this program. We are now. Oh, you have any other thing to add?
What I can say is that you see the presence of the priest in the board of ELECAM, it can give that priest a dissenting voice. You know, even at the level of our courts of appeal, we have 3 justices, and a majority of the judges in favor of a particular judgment, they carry the day, but a single justice can come out with a dissenting judgment. At least, even if whatsoever happens at the level of ELECAM and the priest, despite, in case, let me just say, if in case there are election malpractices, or in case the election was not fair or whatsoever, and despite the declarations, the announcement, and he comes out with a dissenting voice and says that, personally, I think the election was not okay, it was like this, at least that will somehow still make the body to be credible. Yeah, that's why we really applaud when we have such people at the level of the board, because we are looking up to them and hoping that they will uphold their moral values that they incarnate, and they will not suppress it because of fear or favor. Yes, and also the presence of the priest in the board sends a clear signal and message to all Christians that Christians should not only stay in their houses or go to church, pray and fast. They should also get involved in politics and government affairs, because it makes no sense to be criticizing when you also can actually participate and be part of the change. Let's not forget that the church in general, they have the population. Not to talk of the Catholic Church, they have the population and they have the money. In politics, population and money carries the day. Why not channel that resource that they have towards politics and also contribute to in making Cameroon a better country than to always sit behind and criticizing? Yes.
Okay, we move to the second topic. The second topic for today, we are looking at chieftaincy and religion, politics. How do we draw the line? The chiefs are supposed to be, as many would say, are political and non-partisan, because they represent the people, the voices of different people in their community. In their community, you have members of different political parties which may not be in their particular favor. However, the chiefs also are Cameroonians who enjoys the right to belong to a political party and to vote according to the constitution. But how do we draw the line between this aspect, and have many of our chiefs become so political that they need to now start looking at how to draw the line in such a way that will enable their people to believe and to trust in their judgment? Mr. Kimbang, I will start this time with you. We are looking at this issue. How do we draw the line? How should chiefs draw the line between this? Because of recent we have seen a lot of what people caption disrespect from chiefs and not respect of traditional stool by some administrators. Now, many have also blamed the fact that it's because these chiefs have decided to be fully engaged in political campaigns and by endorsing political parties openly. So how do we draw these lines?
I happen to come from the northwest region, where we hold our chiefs for our funds in high esteem. And in our local language, we say that the palace is a palace for everybody. And I think if you go to the northwest, you will discover that, particularly in my own ethnic group, the Wimbom people, you will discover that when it comes to politics, the fund welcomes anybody that comes to the palace. There is nobody who is going to be chased away from the palace because you are a CBDM or you are SDF or you are so and so party. So I think that our own chiefs have tried to maintain that status quo, and that's why when you go to our own area, because I don't like to talk for other people, I talk my own area. If you go to my own area in the Wimbom land, you will discover that our funds, they hold the highest authority in the land, and I don't think that there is a particular fund in the Wimbom land that I can pinpoint that this fund is a CBDM or is an SDF. So I've never, except that I'm forgetting, there's no particular fund from Wimbom land who is like, I'm a CBDM or I'm SDF. We welcome everybody. But what has been transpiring that I've seen in other areas is that some chiefs or funds, they have actively come out to declare that I belong to this and that party, which for me is not, it might be their right, but it's not very correct. Because once you are a fund or a chief and you draw boundaries, it means you are indirectly dividing the village. Because somebody having a problem and runs to the fund, who maybe is from another party that you, the fund, you are not affiliated to, he will fear that you cannot give fair judgment because he is not of your party. So I want to think that the funds, they might have their right, but that right should not be open to the society. They should keep that right at the level of the ballot box when they are going to vote. Nobody is going to see them, which party they are voting. Because coming out clear to declare that I'm a CBDM or I'm opposition, I think that that is what has been causing a lot of troubles and making most of the funds to be disrespected by the citizens, because we were arguing the other day about one fund who came out to declare himself that he was a CPDM, and somebody called him by name, and he was angry. I said, no, once you come out and you say you are from this, and you say you want to campaign for either SDF, opposition party, or CPDM, you cease to be a fund at that particular moment, because they consider that you are a normal person.
A politician.
Yes, you are a politician. And if people have the right now to call you by names, whereas in my fund, it's a taboo to call a fund by the name. So I think that if funds or chiefs that are practicing politics, they should do it in such a way that it should be at the level of the ballot box, where there are the people who know that I belong to the CBDM or I belong to the SDF. Because if you even go to the palace itself, I don't think that if the fund belongs to the CBDM, everybody in the palace will become CBDM. No. There's people in the palace that you will see opposition leaders there, supporters there. I don't want to call the name of the fandom, but somebody was telling me about a fandom where during election, CBDM will come and give things to the what we call the fund's wives, the winter, to be sharing. Then the opposition party will come and give to another winter to be sharing. So you discover that there's always that conflict in the palace, that conflict of yes.
So the wives are one
yes,
wife is with
that one
party.
wife is with another party, then the other wife, which brings a lot of division. I think that our funds should try to be neutral in whatever thing they are doing, so that we can trust them. And that when you look at it, you discover that when the British came to Cameroon, they discovered that those of us, especially in the English, in the grass field, we were well structured. Our funds were well structured, so much that the British did not even see any reason why they should even impose their role on us.
No, not only the grass field. No,
yes.
that was the entire West Cameroon. Because
I'm talking, yes,
not just the grass
yes,
field.
I'm talking from the southwest and
the
northwest.
northwest.
Yes.
All of them were structured.
Yeah, the structure in such a way that
Yes.
the British did not even see any reason why they should come and impose their rule. They said, no, these
That's
people,
why they brought the indirect rule.
yes, they are already perfectly being ruled. Why should we come again to impose a rule that might disrupt them? And I think that we should not lose that integrity that we had as a people. Parties should not come in to destroy us. We should hold that our tradition very strong, so that everybody can be respected.
Okay, let me take on this message for moving to Barrister Anya and then coming back to you. Good afternoon, Mr. Javis and the crew. I wish to encourage the opposition to use online meetings for rallies and stop pretending. Let's look for an anecdote and stop complaining. We are in a new era. Secondly, let the opposition form a coalition and stop believing in past glory and their ego. Thirdly, Cameroonians should be sincere to themselves and God Almighty. When many youth accept immediate gratification than a prosperous future. Thank you, Ndang Rebecca, connecting from Douala. Madam Ndang Rebecca, writing from Douala. This one says, this is coming from the United States of America. It says, how can you trust the result when the process is not trusted? How can GCE board conduct examination and different board release results? There will be honey and sweet juice on the way. I think our patron, His Excellency Paul Biya, needs a good rest for a new wine to put on the AI generation. Let's love our country and make all places to shine. Let the next generation meet a prosperous and established and a promising Cameroon. Good morning. And this is F, writing from the United States of America. This one's most chiefs are government appointees, ministers, senators, parliamentarians, etc. That makes it difficult for some traditional rulers in some localities to be apolitical. This is coming from Mete Obentako Augustine, writing in Manfe. And this other one, right, it says Good day. I think this is just a smoke screen. I registered for election in 2021, months away from the 2025 election, and I still do not have a voter's card. How then can there be a free and fair election? This one says, Mr. Javis. Greetings to you, Mr. Javis, and all panelists in the House of Commons. Please, I have one question for the CPDM man. I have never heard the SDO. I have never heard an SDO. I have never heard an SDO has suspended a CPDM rally anywhere in the National Triangle, but it keeps happening to many opposition parties repeatedly. Does it mean that the CPDM is always right on other areas? Or something is wrong. Now I think there have been a rally of the CPDM which was suspended in the north. There was a rally that was suspended in the north. So just to do a quick check, the issue about these chiefs, are you worried about the way in which they are involved, and how should they draw the line?
I think it's really a ridiculous situation in the country because most of our policies are now CPDM policies throughout the national territory. You agree with me that recently our funds and a majority of our stakeholder chiefs, they rallied in Yaoundé and they gave their support to His Excellency President Pobia. That was not really proper because chiefs are supposed to play their role from a neutral perspective. Neutrality is supposed to be the guiding principle of every chief. That one is very important. But unfortunately in Cameroon, we see that they are deeply rooted in politics and within a particular side of government, especially the CPDM. You agree with me that late Fonanguafo was vice president of the CPDM. And you know, Fonanguafo is highly respected fund of Mancon. No, Mancon people, all of them are not CPDM. And even with all our chiefs, you will not have a chiefdom where you find all the people there belonging to a particular party. It's good to always have this neutral position so that you make your subjects, they feel okay to always go to the palace and they say, no, this palace, I belong to this palace. But when you make it to belong to a particular party like that, it's really not proper. But on the other hand also, from the legal perspective, if we look at the 1977 chieftaincy decree in Cameroon, you see that indirectly chiefs have been coerced to do politics because all the chiefs, first class chiefs, second class chiefs and third class chiefs are appointed and are enthroned and dethroned, appointed and fired by the government.
In other places, in my village, there's nobody who can.
Well,
I'm talking about
even with the presidential decree, they cannot remove the fund of my village.
I'm talking about the law here. The law is supreme.
okay.
Whether whatever happens wherever in the country, the law overrides that position. I'm talking about the law. You cannot give the prime minister the power to dethrone a first class chief. The minister of territorial administration the power to dethrone a second class chief, and the senior divisional officer the power to dethrone third class chiefs. That's not proper.
Would that be the reason why chiefs in Fako division were actually warned about this? Maybe
Let's not limit it. At least let's not limit it in Fako. Let's focus throughout the country. You see, so when chiefs they look at the law, they see that the government can dethrone them. The government can fire them. You see, they are indirectly coerced to dance to the tune of the government. That's the heart of it. The law
so they
is
are
the
constrained
problem.
by the law.
Yes, the law is the problem because one, the way we see it at the level of a true democratic party of Cameroon, chiefs should not be appointed by the state. And we think that Cameroon should have a national house for chiefs and traditional rulers that shall be managed, staffed by chiefs exclusively to manage the affairs of chiefs and traditional rulers throughout the national territory, as it is in the case of South Africa, but not really like the case of South Africa. What I'm trying to say is that in Cameroon we should have a national body staffed by chiefs, and chiefs should be given the power, the autonomy, financially, everything for them to manage their affairs. Chiefs should not be under the government directly and manage and dictated upon by administrators. We saw the communique of the senior divisional officer of FACO that obliged chiefs to go to the grandstand and march on the 20th of
Disciplinary
May,
measures will be taken.
subject to disciplinary measures.
A file will be
That
considered
is-
and sent to the hierarchy for disciplinary measures.
First, before I continue on that note, I think the SDO should be sanctioned based on that.
But there was a letter sent in also by the president of the regional assembly.
The letter of the president.
The letter of the president.
The president of the regional
regional
assembly is
assembly.
of no moment. It's ridiculous and unwarranted. Yes, because he was not supposed to come out with that kind of letter. That letter was not really proper, and it goes further to throw more fire
Because he
on the
instead
existing
schooled,
fire.
he instead schooled the president of the House of Chiefs.
You cannot imagine.
No, the president of the House of Chiefs, because there is this what is happening at the level of regional assembly. The president of the regional assembly has a vice president who is the president of the House of Chiefs. Now that letter sent in by Dr. Ateme Bako was he took his position as the president of the House of Chiefs, not as the vice president of the regional assembly. But the reply he got was as though he was writing as the vice president of regional assembly. The law. How do we judge this issue?
You see, the president of the House of Chiefs was within his right.
As the president of the House of
Yes,
Chiefs.
because what people fail to understand is that as the head of any organization, you have express and implied powers. The law must not clearly state that you must do this, but as the head of that organization, you have implied powers, which is the law. It was within his right to correct the SDO, but unfortunately, the president, the other president, came and wrote what he wrote, but that was really vexatious, honestly. So coming out from that premise, you see that when chiefs are under the direct control of government administrators, it undermines their authority, it ridicules them, it humiliates them before their subjects. Imagine secondary school students reading that kind of communique from the SDO, seeing that the SDO is addressing their chief. Is that really proper? And you see all this friction. Sometimes you see it makes the chiefs to be afraid. Even chiefs who want to do the right thing, they will not dare, because they know what awaits them. And let me give an example of an extreme case that happened in Nigeria. In 2020, the emir of Kano Emirate, Muhammad Sanusi II, he was dethroned by the then Governor Ganduje, because the emir was not attending state functions and he was not attending to state meetings. That was one of the reasons he gave. Just like that. You cannot imagine an almighty emir. But eventually, later now, 2024, a new governor came in, Governor Abba Yusuf Kabi. He came in and he enthroned back the emir of Kano, Muhammad Sanusi II. So you see all this tension, the friction between the house of the chiefs and the government. The only way to solve that problem, and which is a solution that our party we are proposing, is for the chiefs to have their independent body, National House of Chiefs and Traditional Rulers, from the national level right down to the lowest level. They should manage their affairs themselves. Government administrators should not have overriding powers over them. And above all, if you look at the 1977 decree, you see that the government administrators, they have the final say when it comes to chieftaincy matters. Not even the court. Not even the court. Because in any society, any just and equitable society that respects the rule of law, is the court that is supposed to have the final say. Because justice can only be delivered by the court, not administrators. If the Prime Minister says that his decision is in favor of this in a chieftaincy matter, that is final. The court cannot intervene. And that decree excludes the jurisdiction of the court. If you take a chieftaincy matter to the court, they will strike it out, because the courts don't have that jurisdiction. It's a serious issue in this country, and we are proposing to the government that that law should be amended, and they should make in such a way that the courts, when it concerns chieftaincy disputes, when it concerns sanctioning chiefs, when it concerns the dethroning of chiefs, it should be determined by the court and not and not government administrators.
Okay. This one it says, good afternoon, Mr. Javis and esteemed panelists. The core issue facing Cameroon today is the devastating reality of 43 years under the CPDM regime, marked by failure and stagnation. The government has constantly shown incompetence through rampant corruption, embezzlement, poor governance, and neglect of basic infrastructure. Good afternoon, Mr. Javis and esteemed panelists. The core issue facing Cameroon, okay. The government, okay, the CPDM has nothing new or positive to offer. Cameroon urgently needs a visionary leader with a renewed patriotic mindset to drive the nation towards prosperity, industrialization, and a better future for all its citizens. No state electricity, clean water, good roads, or quality education. Insecurity is widespread, and the hope for progress has dwindled. The CPDM has nothing new or positive to offer. Cameroon is urgently in need of visionary leaders and with a renewed and patriotic mindset to drive the nation towards prosperity, industrialization. This is Prince Belly writing from Germany. This other one says, good afternoon to you guys in the studio. Mr. Emmanuel, take it easy today. Okay. The issue about the chiefs.
The issue about the chiefs. The first, I have something to say that I looked at it since Chief Dr. Joseph Jangote came to when he was appointed. I thought that if a chief of that magnitude had been appointed the PM, the problem with chieftaincy title in Cameroon is resolved and forever. But till today, we are still seeing skirmishes, and this goes to say that the chiefs in Cameroon have left, the chiefs and the founder, or the traditional authorities in Cameroon have left from auxiliary to subordinate. We have all seen it. Mr. Kimbang made mention of a post-colonial organization, and then during the colonial organization, where the people, the Western, saw how our traditional institutions were organized, and they fell for it and decided to use the same traditional institutions to rule the people, to carry out their activities. And we are citing the British, who used indirect rule. But it is rather unfortunate that the conventional administration, the nowadays administration, is trying to instead remove the chief, to divide, to scatter the basis of traditional institutions. They are using this system they have used in politics, the divide and rule. What has kept many presidents in Africa, it is because they are using the divide and rule principle. They come in, once they succeed in dividing your community, you are bound to succumb to whatever. Since you are infractions, you are supposed to succumb to whatever they are going to see. And that is why they have gone from higher level, and now they have targeted our traditional institutions. And I think that let it be reconsidered that chiefs who are known as auxiliaries are now becoming subordinate. From if the SJO is already intimidating chiefs. I even had a video today of one Joe in the north telling the brigade commander to bring the names of all the chiefs to him. If they don't do, they should not do anything. That he will have to do this and punish them. I will send you the video. I was like, what are we turning our traditional institutions to? Let's face fact. Before anything happens in Cameroon, who governesses the people first? Before the conventional state authorities came in, this conventional administration came, they passed through the chiefs. It was first of all the chiefs who gathered the people before any other thing. Even the church, if the church wants to settle somewhere, they have to see the chiefs. If a political party wants to organize a particular something somewhere, they have to see the chiefs. So why are we having difficulty maintaining those chiefs, maintaining their stand? Cameroon
at its, we always say it's the something, it's the state of law. And if the laws, like Barrister mentioned, if the laws have been made to respect, I would not like us to attribute that it is another bad law. Barrister, I would not like us to say it's another bad law that a chief can be dethroned or dismissed, because from what I know, from the especially from the northwest, the chief, it is the hereditary. Nobody imposes on a chief. Nobody. If you go to the, if you are not the heir to that throne as decided by tradition, if you mount the throne, you are gone the next day. The issue about chiefs now, like we saw what happens in the southwest, it is not only that. Another one came up in the northwest, which was likened to the attribution of titles. And we saw that it is still the maneuver of state institution, not state institution, but state men who go and manipulate this. And then, if you have, for example, I always said it, people who have known me in my little circle, I always said it, I will not stand to take politics into the palace, because my chief, my fund should be that person who welcomes. If I'm coming from, if I create my own political party tomorrow, if I'm a member of the CPDM or of the SDF, they should actually welcome all of us and send. And look at what happens. I asked the other day, I asked the chief, what happens if the CPDM people come to your palace and say they need somebody from the palace to go to stand for a particular position, and then the SDF come away? He said he will give the two. He will look for one of the sons and say, go ahead. Okay. He will look for another one and say, go ahead. And that is why if we tolerate, and there are people who would think otherwise, that chiefs who are not joining politics are lacking, are missing a lot of things. I have had people who say so. Many people, learned people who say that the society of nowadays is a society where chiefs are going. Chiefs should not be left behind, not to do partisan politics.
Out of time.
But our mindset is that the chiefs, who are the actual umbilical cord of unity in an environment,
out of time.
Yes, should not be embedded in partisan politics.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you, and I want to extend my special greetings to the people of Noni who are watching live. They should go and have their voters card, please. If you don't have a voters card, make sure you have, because the elections will soon close its door. We should go and vote. Register first. When the time comes, anybody register first. Register. When the time comes, you will choose your.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Javis. I want to congratulate the mayor of Nu, Mayor Kanfon Bunu, who was the first, who took the first Cleaner City Prize in Bamenda, who represented the Northwest in the national competition for the Cleaner City, which I hope he will win.
Okay.
And I want to thank all my elites who are doing everything possible to see that our division, especially in Kambe, is transformed into a modern city.
We are out of time, Barrister. Thank you for coming. The national president for the True Democratic Party, Cameroon.
Ali, it was a pleasure being here. But what I would say at this juncture is that I hereby appeal to the government and the powers that be to provide Cameroonians with the basic amenities so that Cameroonians can live a very comfortable life. And above all, also, the government should fight corruption, because Cameroon is where it is today because of corruption. Civil servants are practicing corruption with impunity. They should be sanctioned and disciplined. That's my final word.
Thank you very much. Thank you to all those of you who are just joining us. This program will be rebroadcast today at exactly 10:30 p.m. You can follow it on our YouTube channel, which will be put there. It is BT Media Group or My Media Prime. YouTube channel is either BT Media Group or My Media Prime. You'll have it there. Any of the YouTube channels, subscribe and follow it. If you want to be a member of the panel, you want to discuss on issues affecting our nation, you can contact me on the numbers that you see on your screen, 676431384. No matter the matter, what matters is your matter. And what should matter this day is that you should stay out of trouble. My name is Tah Javis Mai, Cameroon's commercial capital Douala. Until meet again, bye-bye and stay out of trouble.